If any 20th century economist was a Renaissance man, it was Friedrich Hayek. He made fundamental contribution in political theory, psychology, and economics in a field in which the relevance of ideas often is eclipsed by expansion on an initial theory. Many of his contributions are so remarkable that people still read them more than 50 years after they were written. Many graduate economics students today study his articles from the 1930s and 1940s on economics and knowledge, deriving insights that some of their elders in the economic profession still do not totally understand. It would not be surprising if a substantial minority of economists still read and learn from his articles in the year 2015. In 1927, he became the director of newly formed Australian Institute for Business Cycle Research.
Hayek, also called Friedrich Hayek, was born in May 8, 1899, Austrian-born British economist, noted for his criticisms of the Keynesian welfare state and of totalitarian socialism. He earned doctorates in law and political science in 1921 and 1923 respectively. When the University of Vienna closed, he studied in Stanton von Monaco's Institute of Brain Anatomy, where Hayek spent much of his time staining brain cells. He believed that the prosperity of society was driven by creativity. In his views, markets create the price, signals, and incentives to orientate the economy more efficiently.
Hayek was firmly in the Austrian tradition with respect to his views on how a money using economy functions, how the economic capital structure aligns producer supply with consumer demand, and how overly expansionary monetary policy can create errors in the price system, resulting in a boom bust dynamic. Hayek work on capital focus on the capital structure. Capital goods are heterogeneous, a specific combination of capital goods in necessary to produce each final consumer goods. And the capital structure is the economic network of capital goods and must be coordinated not only across various goods and services, but across time. Capital intensive production takes time and consumer will only be willing to wait for the finished goods and services. If the capital producer process adds enough value to compensate consumers for waiting, it is once again in the role of the price system to effect this two-dimensional coordination. Hayek is considered by most experts as one of the greatest critics of the socialist conscience.
And speak about Friedrich Hayek book. The first book is The Road to Serdoms, published in 1944. The Road of Serdoms, which was published in 1944. Hayek argues that control of market by the state in comparison to a free market economy limits to the freedom of individuals and leads to an oppressive society or even tyranny. Second book is Individualism and Economic Order, published in 1948, discussing topics ranging from moral philosophy to the methods of social science and economics theory to construct free market with planned economies. Third book is Law, Legislation and Liberty, published in 1973. Law, Legislation and Liberty is a work in 3 volumes of Nobel laureate economics and political philosopher Friedrich Hayek. It is a Hayek further develops the philosophical principle he discussed earlier in The Road to Serdoms, the Constitution of Liberty. Fourth book is The Constitution of Liberty, published in 1916. It is an interpretation of a civilization as being made possible by the fundamental principles of liberty, which is other presents as prerequisites for wealth and growth rather than the other way around. Fifth book is The Fatal Conflict, published in 1988. Even after his death, Hayek's intellectual presence is noticeable, especially in the universities where he had taught, namely the London School of Economics and the University of Chicago. His influence and contributions have been noted by many. A number of tributes have resulted, many established posthumously. Hayek Society, a student run group at the London School of Economics, was established in his honor. The Oxford Hayek Society, founded in 1983, is named after Hayek. The Cato Institute named its lower level auditorium after Hayek, who had been a distinguished senior fellow at Cato during his later years. The Mont Pelerin Society has a quadrennial economic essay contest named in his honor. The Hayek Fund for Scholars of the Institute for Humane Studies provides financial awards for academic career activities of graduate students and untenured faculty members. Hayek has an investment portfolio named after him. The Hayek Fund invested in corporations who financially support free market public policy organizations.